Hello and welcome to the Best of British Business. I'm Rachel Hicks. What makes a good leader? Ask the shareholders and the boards of any organisation and you'll hear that this is one of the most difficult to answer questions. And as a result, it's even more difficult to find the right leader for your team. So how should we recruit the perfect executive? That's what we asked Sarah Skinner, Global Managing Director of Grace Blue. Sarah, give me a sense of what makes a great leader.
I think what's interesting when you look at a great leader is whether you look at politics or business or sports or science, I think there are three core attributes that you see, and that is a clarity of vision, decisiveness, and the ability to listen, really listen. A well-known airline, which could be like just any other airline, but it was the founder's clarity of vision to be a real challenger, to disrupt the status quo is what has been core to that business's success. Or the Prime Minister of Britain during World War II, his decisiveness has been well documented. Or a CEO who has turned around one of Britain's biggest supermarket chains, and he did that by listening. He did that by walking the shop floor, by asking the question, tell me what I really need to know. So throughout time, throughout all the countries in the world, we can consistently see it's that clarity of vision, that decisiveness and that ability to listen defines what a great leader. What's interesting, I think, is our expectations of leaders today have definitely changed.
So with the changes that you've mentioned, how do you make sure that you do find a leader that's fit for the future? And as you've outlined, this future is changed. And what are the challenges that they face?
Businesses need to be constantly evolving. If they don't, they will be left behind. So when it comes to finding a leader, the question that we need to be asking is, what skills are required to transform the business? What is the business need that you're looking to address? Once you've identified that, it allows you to understand where you need to look for those skills. So that creates your strategy for where you will be looking. And what becomes exciting is it allows so many of our clients to think beyond the obvious. That individual is my direct competitor doing exactly the same role. Let me give you an example. Wimbledon, who's been a client of ours, came to us and wanted a marketing leader. And they wanted somebody who could really help them engage an international fan base, particularly over in the US. They wanted somebody who would help them behave as a global brand, who would help them take that brand beyond their brilliant 2-week championship, but into something with greater longevity, so they could behave much more like an entertainment business rather than just an events business. So the candidate that was successfully placed wasn't somebody who came from another sports rights holder, but actually came from a background for one of the world's biggest entertainment streaming businesses. So a completely different solution than had we just looked in the obvious place. The challenge is, you might have agreed what the business need is, you've identified who really interesting people could be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those leaders are going to be looking for a new role themselves, which is why it's really important to work with a partner who can articulate the advocacy for your business, who can be an ambassador of your brand, is somebody who can really help to communicate what will the value add be for that candidate to go and consider taking a new role, who behaves with rigour and really cares.
What happens if I don't find the right leader for my business when I've come to you?
I would say that a good search firm will always find you the right leader. However, if we get it wrong, it could be a disaster. So an extreme example will be a well-known aviation manufacturer who repeatedly hired 5 successive CEOs, all focusing just on short-term profit rather than manufacturing safe quality planes.
Okay, so we hear that it can go wrong, but where does it go wrong and why do some leadership appointments fail?
The most important question needs to be, what is the business need? Make sure there is alignment from the board, from the executive team regarding what you are looking to bring a leader in to do.
So agreement and clarity.
Agreement and utter clarity. But there are three classic mistakes that we often see. So the first one would be, don't just hire on your own self-image. You're not looking for lots of duplications of yourself. It's about finding people who will be complementary and be additive. It's something we often see actually with entrepreneurs and founders as they grow and scale a business. They've got to remember they've got to bring in different complementary leaders rather than just a repetition of themselves, which can not allow that business to truly scale. A second classic mistake is no matter how great a candidate is on paper, it's also about understanding what are those softer skills that will allow them to really come in and add value. How will they mesh together with the rest of the executive team? How will they create followership and be able to inspire others? Because that is what will make effective change. And then the third one is, don't be fooled by showmanship. We have all met those candidates who give a great interview, but it's important to actually focus on the substance beneath it. Unfortunately, just putting in a Hollywood star into a movie doesn't mean it's going to be an absolute guaranteed box office success.
So in that case, how do you ensure that you do get it right?
How do you get it right? Well, first of all, you have to make sure that you have utter clarity around what it is that you are looking to achieve through the hiring. But I think two other key points that we would always say is, number one, we really invest time in understanding any candidate that we will recommend. For example, we will interview them at least 3 times to get under the skin. It's not just what they have done, it's how they have achieved it. And what's important about this is we bring at Grace Blue an incredibly deep industry knowledge, because we've all previously worked ourselves in the sectors that we operate in, and that is what is able to make it a much more insightful interview. My second point is do your due diligence, not just the formal reference checking that will happen at an offer stage, but it's those discrete references that you've taken ahead that will give you a real insight into how effective that leader will be.
And finally, what does success look like?
For us, success is about the impact that a leader goes on to deliver for a company that they've joined. And the way that we look at it is we ask 2 questions. We go, has that leader been able to grow themselves with the organisation that they've joined? And have they been able to grow the business that they've joined? If the answer is yes to both, then we would define that as a success.
Sarah Skinner from Grace Blue.